Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Inspiration, motivation takes. Listen to the podcast. We're all about to talk about life. Our guests will share their life story. We want you to success in life and business. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk about life. We're going to speak on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are going to witness. Business with a servant's heart. With hosts Steve, Ramona, and Ray. Inspiration, education talks. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I am so thrilled that you've joined us today. This podcast is dedicated to exploring the idea of doing business and life together because they run together with a purpose. We all need to have a purpose. We believe we approach our work and our lives with a servant's heart. We can make a difference. And I hope everybody out there listening, that's kind of your goal every day when you wake up. We want to motivate you, inspire you, and educate you so you can make that impact in your world. Not the whole world, but just in your world right now. And this is part 2 of my guest. She's going to blow you guys and girls out of the water. She is so smart, but she's got the heart, the servant's heart with a business acumen. I love using that word. Probably don't know what it means, but she's just make sure you get your pad and paper out because you're going to want to take notes. Well, while you're listening to her today, I want you to think about how you're going to serve yourself. Very important to take care of yourself and serve others today. What kind of impact were you going to create today? And I say this all the time, but I like to repeat it. People will go, oh, I'm going to wait till tomorrow or the next day. And then a month goes by and you haven't done it. I guarantee you 100%, I probably shouldn't say that when you serve somebody today, you're going to feel a little bit better. So go ahead and serve people today. And I want to thank my sponsor, Pantheon Alliance. Imagine being part of an exclusive community of high-income, successful business owners and entrepreneurs from very diverse, I would say injuries. They're not injuries, they're industries. See, even I make mistakes. And we're going to keep it on there. But together as a community, they're building a thought leader expert platform to impact and change the world. Super excited about it. If you want to have any questions or want to learn more, please reach out to me. And as I said, this is going to be an impactful podcast. Her first time around was so good. This is going to be even better. We're going to raise the bar. And you're in business. You need people. I keynote speak around the world about the people, asset, and business investments. You need to invest in your people, and that's what she helps you do. We're going to talk a lot more about that. Suman, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Did I say it right?
No, you said it.
Say it. How do you say it?
Suman, like Susan.
Suman. An audience, see? As I say, I like to be corrected. Suman, I said it right.
Suman, you're never going to forget it.
Well, Suman, I want you to rock our world. One thing I want to ask you that I've learned, it may be new, but you call yourself a matchmaker in hiring. I love that because it's just not hiring to hire, but talk about matchmaking.
I mean, I think that when you're looking at recruiting, the kind of older way of looking at it is it's very transactional based, right? So you're like, okay, I need to find this person. You're going through resumes and then you're sorting through them and then you're hiring someone. But it's a lot more, and there's a lot of ability with that piece, right? You're just focusing so much on the skills and what can they provide, and they fit all the boxes. But there's a piece missing from that. When we're talking about matchmaking, I always like to think of it in the sense of like dating, So when you're looking for someone for your organization, they don't just have to fit abilities. I mean, they have to be able to do the job, but they also have to have specific core values that align to your company as an organization. The behaviors and those pieces have to align. So when we're doing matchmaking, we're asking deeper questions. We're understanding who they are beyond just a resume, who they are as people and how they handle conflict. And are they motivated and hungry for this role? Are they someone who's a reactionary person? Are they someone who's responsive based? Can they navigate stress, those types of pieces? And then we are matching that with our clients who have those core values as well to make sure that's a good match. Because it is like a marriage. because you're bringing someone into your organization. And if you bring in the right people, they expand your organization. And if you bring in the wrong people of your organization, they contract your organization. So it is the backbone. It's the most important piece. You cannot thrive as an organization if you don't have the right people.
Love that, because a lot of people call their companies family, which they should. That culture of family.
Right.
Well, your marriage word is perfect, because you're bringing somebody, marrying your family. Like, when we get married, we're marrying to that our wife's or our husband's family. I love that analogy, because that makes the culture much better. But how is it being a third party? You're more objective, being better matchmaking than I work for Google and I'm a recruiter, but I'm stuck in all this trying to recruit. What superpowers do you bring?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when you are working for an organization, there is limitations in some cases. I wouldn't say always,
Yeah.
but the ability piece seems to be, you don't have the time. In order to justify having an internal recruiter or a recruiting source, they have to work on a lot of positions. And so I don't think it's that I think they just don't have the time and energy to be able to have deeper conversations with candidates versus when we're having conversations, we are doing 2 tiers on every, we're pre-screening them for qualifications, understanding if they have those skills, and then we're setting them up for these Zoom interviews, and we're actually observing their body language and seeing how professional they are. Do they ask questions? How do they show up to that interview? And we're going into more of the core values piece. And I don't think companies really have that availability to do that when they have to take on so much other responsibility than just hiring.
I remember from last time, you're a qualifier, you don't hire, but you're that person that your group comes in and does that. Of course, the company recruiter is going to make the final decision, but you've given them a base of, here's 4 people, here's what we learn, and then they can make the final decision. How much time have you taken off their plate?
I mean, typically our positions take to fill somewhere between 80 to 100 hours. So you're looking at 4 to 6 to 8 weeks, and that's with us working about 15 hours a week on a position, because we can't do 40 hours because human beings, they call you back, you're checking in, you're following up. So that's kind of the sweet spot. And that's a lot of effort, because not only are we looking at active candidates that post the positions, and we post to 25 different job sites, we are also doing, every recruiter does a minimum of 2 hours of passive recruiting on every position every day. So they're looking and they're actually reaching out to candidates who are not on the job boards to find out if they're the right matches. On top of that, our recruiters are doing such a great job of communicating with the clients. We have a process so in place now where we communicate with the clients a minimum of 3 times a week, where we're giving them real shot activity as to how many people we're contacting, how many people we sourced, what the market is, do we need to make adjustments? So in real time, versus it being something, what ends up happening is we put a position out there, we hope that we find the right candidate, and then we just drag the process out, and instead of like, okay, we need to make adjustments now versus in 3 months from now,
That's your superpower too, is you've got a system built in already, which a company may not, and they can utilize your system. Of course, there's a cost and there's value to that. So they don't have to recreate the wheel then, is what you're saying.
No, because we want to create, we understand that hiring is something that is very challenging for anyone. Like anyone you talk to about hiring, even myself, when I have to hire new recruiters, I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this, because I have all these other responsibilities as a CEO, right? And it's the same thing with these managers and even the HR, they have a lot of responsibility. So if we can allow them from the very beginning to help create that job description so that it really highlights what the actual job really is, because sometimes you don't know, like clients will come to us and say, this is what I need. And you're like, okay, well, that's 3 people. Let's really get crystal clear on what the requirements are. And let's understanding what those core values and how that's going to match. And then when we do our interviewing, we do a very signature interviewing process. So we take the biasness out of that piece, because it's easy to like people that are like you, but sometimes those aren't the right people for your organization. Like you need something different. Then you need someone to challenge things. You need some people to think about things in a different way. And we teach our clients we educate our clients on how to interview as well. and we invite them to try our way of scoring, and then we compare those notes so we can have deeper conversations about candidates.
Yeah, you don't have skin in the game. For every company you work with, you don't have skin. So that makes it much better in the sense of objectivity when it comes to those people.
Yeah, I mean, and we're not charging the fees that the contingent model is. Like we're consulting. Like we don't really see ourselves even close to how the contingent model does it, other than the fact that we're doing sourcing and those types of pieces. But we're consultants. Like we're really working as your company's consultant. We're coming in, we're the hiring authority experts. Like our clients, we're very direct, we're very honest. So we want to do what's best for our clients. So if we see that there needs to be an increase in salary, location, something needs to change, we have enough education, understanding of other roles and what the market is to be able to let clients know, like, actually, you do need to have a company truck. Like everyone else is offering a company truck, you're not going to be competitive. And that's something that's invaluable for companies as well.
You know, Suman, I did it right. Suman.
You did it.
I'm going to practice that. Suman. That's a powerful thing you just said. Not only just people, but how to draw the right people. Like with the truck thing. Hey, you don't have trucks for your guys. I can't get you good guys because you don't have. That is a value add it's unbelievable. And then the other thing is the cost of retraining a new hire. You come in with great employees. Talk about that. I know people hear it all the time, but that's important.
It is very important. I mean, there's two tiers to it as well, because when you're having to source through so many people, you're like, at some point your eyes are getting crossed. You're like, have a stack of resumes. You're like, I can't look at another resume. The candidates you're getting in front of you are already pre-vetted, pre-qualified. They're ready to go. You can set up interviews. They're pretty close to your wheelhouse. They're good matches. And so that allows you to save the time on that. And then they've already been pre-vetted in that way. And the other piece is that you don't want to create a revolving door within a company, because if you don't have those key people or you don't bring the right people in, then your other people are leaving. And then like employees that are engaged. I read this statistic, so I don't know if it's true or not, but I like the statistic. They said that candidates who are employees who are engaged, they're 87% more productive than employees who aren't. So I don't think companies understand, like when you don't bring in the right people fast enough, the quality's not there, you're leaving these teams to do multiple jobs, you're leaving managers in the wrong roles. It's a chaotic situation, and your production is going to go down. And you're going to lose the people in that company. So it's like, it's so complicated, all of it, but if you have the right people, it's the complete opposite. Like for me, I have hired just like incredible people, right? And so that has helped my business just scale so much, because they're engaged, because they care, because they're passionate, because like you said, like this service piece, this is a very important piece. Like we are there to serve others, right? In our everyday life. And I feel like that is a huge component as well. And you want to have employees who are also servers, right? You want to have people who are going to grow that in your organization,
Yeah. Yeah. No, God, this is so powerful, because this is huge. This is the difference when a company stay in business or not at times, especially during COVID. Having the wrong people, too much money in recruiting, ROI drops, income, all that. And it's complex. It's like me and you aren't going to do heart surgery. We're going to have a heart surgeon do it. This is that complex, I think. For a business, you're doing heart surgery for them, in a sense, for their business to bring the right people.
Yeah, because your people are really, they're really the most important piece to your business. There really isn't anything, because if you have the wrong people in your organization, even if maybe they're not the wrong, maybe they're just misaligned in values, or maybe they're in the wrong position, or maybe they're not motivated to that position, or whatever the situation is, they create a lot of distractions in an organization. They create chaos within the organization. They create, and I don't want to say, I know illness, let's just say illness in the organization, or they dilute the water, so to speak. You can't have the clear, your culture. And the thing is so many companies have put so much time and effort and energy into their culture. And then they bring in a couple of the wrong people because they're very high producers, but they don't have the value piece, and they don't want to let them go. And they create havoc for those organizations, Because so many times when we're talking to candidates, people think it's about money. It's like, why are you looking? It's the environment. It's one bad manager that's causing issues. It's I'm doing the job of 3 people because they won't hire people fast enough, or they keep hiring the wrong people. It's not money. I mean, yeah, in some cases they want more money, but money is not the root of it. It's they don't feel seen, they don't see heard, they don't feel like there's meaningful work at the organization, they don't feel like people care about them. And so you can do all the great things with culture, but if you bring the wrong people in and they're not aligned to your culture, they can take your company down so quickly.
Blow it right up. No, that's so well said. It's such powerful what you're talking about. And audience, if you have a business, we'll get her contact info at the end. You need to reach out and ask questions. Please do, because it could, I said it, people asset investment business. That's what she does. She builds your asset, which builds your income. I'm just going to leave it at that. The industry that I'm excited that you work in is real estate. Talk about a people business, real estate, especially with that. How do you recruit with real estate, and what's the challenges with that?
So we haven't been doing as much in real estate recently. We've been
Okay.
doing a lot more around construction. Real estate seems to be a little bit slower. I think that's kind of the consensus.
Yeah.
But we've been doing a lot of work in the construction space. Now, it's still fairly busy, like in the high end stuff. So there's still a luxury market, and those pieces are still, and they're still very challenging to find those people because, again, a lot of times we're filling estimator roles, project manager roles, superintendent roles, higher construction roles, and they're still hard to find great project managers. I read somewhere last week that project managers are the #1 job. It's the hardest job for companies to find in any industry, someone to do the project management piece, because finding very good project managers are very important because they're the ones that are going to organize everything, interact with your clients, making sure everything's being done, you know? And so it's still very challenging to find those people, but because the way that our model works so effectively is that we're not rushing the process. We're giving it time. We're having lots of conversations. We're narrowing it down. We're understanding more what we need. We're having a lot of conversations with our clients. So there's a lot of collaboration that comes into it. And the more that we work with the client, the more that we understand their little ticks and their nuances, and the easier it is for us to fill it. Cause like, we're like, oh, this is the kind of person that would match well. Cause not everyone matches well for every organization. Some organizations are more laid back and there's more of a personal element, so they need someone more personal. Some companies are more less of that, and that's okay too. And they need someone more analytical, more logistical. And so you have to be very specific. And so it's gone really well. I mean, we've grown since the last time we met last year. It was just pretty much me doing everything. And now, I have 3 full-time recruiters. I have a VP of sales and marketing. We're redoing all of our branding. It's been amazing. We've had you included have given us so many amazing reviews and referrals. And it's just, I'm so grateful. And I think for me, the biggest impact of this is you're changing people's lives on either side of it. You're changing your clients' lives because now they can grow and they can go on that vacation that they weren't able to go on. I mean, that's the truth. And then you are changing candidates' lives because they are able to go to the soccer game they weren't able to go with their daughter because their work wasn't allowing that. So you're really creating real value for people's lives. And it's such an incredible feeling. It really is.
You're actually serving them more so. And that when you tell those stories, that's serving somebody. They can go see their child play soccer. They haven't been able to do for 2 years because of their jobs in the way. That's a servant mentality, servant heart. You're 20 years into this. You look 20 years old. So I don't know how you're 20 years into this. But what has changed? What do companies need to know to change? Like a company's listening, they've been around 10 years. I'm sure 10 years ago, it's much different recruiting as it is today.
I mean, I think that there is a lot of noise. I think there's a lot of, and I don't want to say anything negative about AI. I know that the AI thing is the buzz and all those types of things. And I've utilized it some, but I think there's limitations with it because I don't think that hiring people is a transactional robotic experience. I think there's a nuance that you don't understand until I think someone's beyond a resume. So I think that is one of the pieces that have changed. It used to be much more traditional that you would just pick up the phone and have conversations with people. Now it's very automated. Now it's email sequencing. Now it's keyword, all these things, which I think does hurt companies. And I think we're going to see that as time goes on. Like, companies are so focused on ability. Like, can they do this huge list of things and da 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 da? They're missing on the opportunity to find people that match who they are and how they want to grow as an organization. So I think that's the biggest shift. There's so much more information than there was 10 years ago. And I think that that can be very confusing for people. Like, what is the best way? I mean, I've heard of even companies doing automated interviews. I just think, how is that even possible? How is that even possible? And if you're looking for an A+ candidate, do you think that A+ candidate is going to listen to an automated AI interview? They think they want to talk to a company that have the time to even invest in spending the time to talk to them? No, they're not. They're not.
Well said, because it's gotta, what you do has to have the human experience. AI, internet, tech cannot be involved with that. And it will be for 100 years, because it's a human, unless robots are talking to robots, then maybe
Yeah,
that'll
maybe.
work, right? And that'll happen before, way past our lives. But I love that, because the human experience is so important in what you do. We're coming to the end here. You've had placed over 500 employees.
My life.
Congratulations. That is
Yeah.
so awesome for you. Why do you think you've done that many, and how successful have they been? I know that's a tough question.
I mean, I think for me, I have always just been a connector of people. I just always like to hear people's stories, and I just find recruiting to be really interesting. Most people probably don't. Most people would rather nail their nails on a chalkboard than. But I talk about this all day. I love connecting people with people. I love having those conversations. I love seeing my candidates. I mean, I've placed candidates for the last 20 years of my life, right? So I love seeing them on LinkedIn and seeing how they've been promoted and where they are now versus then. It's very rewarding for me, or to see an organization that I've been a part of and helped to grow, and now there's another level. So I just think that the success I feel is when I'm able to provide. I love the fact that we're providing something of such amazing value at a price and an ease that allows anyone to use it, right? It's not something that's so out of touch. Like, for people, $25,000 placement fees, that's out of touch for a lot of companies. But under $10,000 placement fee, that's much more reasonable, and having all that value on the other side of it. And I also like that we impact candidates' lives, because even if we can't help them on a specific position, I still always want to help them. I always want to give them advice, or what else have you tried? Have you tried this? And because I think it's very important to, we work with people all day. And I think that we have the ability to have a lot of impact on that person's day by just being kind, and by just giving them the time, even if we don't necessarily have something for them, but giving them that time and to talk about what they're struggling with the recruiting process, how many people these jobs they've applied to, how frustrating it is, and just kind of holding that space for people.
Well, you just proved, Suman, got it right again.
Yes.
Honestly, I'm practicing, because I'm going to bring it up for part 3 down the road. Suman, here's what you just did. And honestly, I want you to hear this. You're passionate, you have a purpose, and you have a why. And you're right. It would be, fingernails on a chalkboard for me, recruiting. I love connecting people. I do partnerships. I don't do recruiting. But that's so important. Why people, if you looking to hire somebody, I don't like doing this, but I'm going to do it today, because when somebody has a passion and purpose like that, they're going to be successful. They're going to be successful for you. The other thing she said that I want to highlight was, she's going to bring value to you. She didn't charge that person for that little bit of value. She just said, hey, here's a way to help you to get more of this, or the truck value advice. That little piece of advice could make company millions of dollars. You're not going to go, hey, Steve Ramon, I just made you millions of dollars. I want 10%. That doesn't work that way. So I thank you so much for really, truly having a big servant's heart.
Thank you. Yeah. That to me is success. You know what I mean?
Amen. So let's end with, we've had fun, but I'm going to end with a fun question.
Oh, okay.
I told you before. So
Okay.
you've got a reservation at a restaurant.
Okay.
There's a table of 4.
Okay.
You're, of course, going to sit in one chair. Who are you going to invite, dead or alive, Why are they invited, and what food would you order?
Oh my gosh, who would I invite to my who would I invite? I would definitely invite Oprah Winfrey. I just find her to be so fascinating.
It's a good one.
And I would definitely invite J.K. Rowling just because I'm obsessed with Harry Potter. So I would definitely invite her. Because I'd be like, I want to tap into like what is that she's talking about. And who else would I invite? I don't know. I always like I don't really know too much about this, but I always like love the story of Helen Keller and all that she like overcame and everything I just always found her to be just a beautiful person, to have had so much diversity in her life and then also but so much love from the other side of it. So I would probably invite her as well. And I would have Italian food because I love Italian food.
May have to get a fifth chair if you bring Italian. I'm sorry, I might have to step in there. What a table too. Can you imagine? You'd have to have a own booth yourself.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
That would be 1 hour of incredible conversation.
It would.
Well, thank you so much again. This has been an incredible show. You're such a powerful businesswoman, and you care, and that's such a great combination. But how could people reach out, support you, connect with you?
Well, I have a very big LinkedIn presence, so you can definitely find Suman Cherry on LinkedIn. You can get on our website, cherrytalentgroup.com, and there's a submission form. So if anyone, wants some help, and we've got some exciting things rolling out as well. We're putting the pieces into it. We're looking at rolling out some consulting as well. So for companies that really want to get better at recruiting as a whole, as an organization, like a deeper dive into that, and not just the sourcing, maybe other positions, or maybe not using us, just want to change their system. We're going to be providing that as well for companies so they can learn how to use our model within their organization as well.
All this information will be in the show notes, or reach out to me. I'll connect you with her. I've done that already, and I'd love to connect you with her because you can tell if you don't hire, that's not the most important thing, but she's going to be here bring you value and help you. And maybe somebody that needs help with recruiting, and she's definitely an answer. And as always, I want to ask you all to subscribe to this YouTube channel because Suman, I did it again. I got it right. I keep practicing.
You did.
You get to find her podcast because when you subscribe, the channel's there. And a lot of my client subscribers go back and listen to the show a number of times. She said something about this, and you want to go back and remember what that was. That's the power of it. And then also subscribe and share with your family and friends. You got a friend out there that's got a business that's looking for more employees or looking to replace employees or whatever. Hey, connect them. Have them watch the podcast. Learn all about her passion. And what a cool thing. Now we're winning and we're bringing value. We're serving each other. Also, too, comment on the YouTube channel. If you have a comment for Suman, I'll get it to her. Don't worry. I've connected with her. Or you want to critique the show, good or bad, doesn't matter. The show's all about you. So I want to make the best I can to motivate, inspire, and educate you like Suman did today. With that being said, me and Suman want to thank you so much for watching or listening to this podcast. We'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have a great day, everyone.